Holler if you hear me, and welcome to tonight's edition of Art Uncensored. It is the top of the hour, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we are here and together for page 12 to issue 7 of my comic Encrypted. You got some architectural floor plans putting on in here, but there are some other ones also that are going to be a little bit more unique, as you'll be seeing throughout this page, as now we're full on into the story with Fiona right there going through her little Sam Fisher sort of style adventure, going through the little estate that we did the mock-up right here, our little model right here. Isn't it fun? Yes, it's nice to do this little Lego layout. And also for the floor itself that we are portraying right here. This is the architectural floor plan for the third floor of that, which you see. Here's the rendering that you see in the finished story right here. Actually, I've got it upside down, right to how it's actually drawn. But you can see I think you can see the parallel right there, what we did versus how it's going on in there. So let's put this floor plan back where we are. Yes, because remember, well, the Legos that was part of the birthday presents I got last month included a Lego set. So, hey, how about doing some architectural floor plans besides the big model of the castle setting right here to work from? And that is something that I do plan on doing with future issues and things like that. When it comes to locations, is to go and lay them out some way like that. And we've got Puma Fist in the chat. Hello. We've got Kim in the chat. Welcome, my lady, right there. And Nick says, of course, telling everybody to have fun. Let's hope we'll see him on break later tonight. And RJ says, I will be on later, but hello. All right, right there. As now, well, when we get this page done tonight, we'll be halfway to issue 7. Because each issue being 24 pages, that's the exact count that I've got going. With getting 6 24-page issues out there this first year of doing Encrypted, will by that point be well past all the other people that you see making comics independently that have any kind of online presence. Well past a certain morbidly obese, sad, bald old asshole in New Jersey, where already now having 2 issues up and printed and delivered to those who order it, I'm automatically tied right there within, 4 months of me having launched, first having a comic book available for pre-order and then shipping out those pre-orders after actually having it printed and made and all that. Well, so there we go. And for all those, yes, of course, we'll already have the rest of the first year completed. And the plan with issue 7 right here is to have issue 7 finished before March is done, and then spend the next 5 months doing more conventional streams, where then all the creative focus is, for that. Actually, we've got Pumafist says a question. What's your system for working on your comic? What steps do you use? Well, initially how it started, what I've been doing now since I've really been doing the issues for Encrypted regularly is I have a little basic like pocket notebook, one of those like off-brand kind of versions of those little Moleskine kind of ones, and just literally just jot down a plot, at least like a basic concept that takes a few sentences to go and explain. And then if depends on how much time I have before, I'll go and start actually drawing page 1. There'll be that basic concept. And also knowing what the ending is going to be. I always make sure that whatever the story is about, having that, 2 or 3 sentence concept ready to go, but then also having an ending exactly in mind, because I really want to make it where each issue, there's always something big that happens, because I want it to be where each issue is its own standalone thing, but also with each issue, Fiona actually is doing something interesting and important. And also there is some big event. There's some big event that happens at the end of each issue that she is responsible for. So with that rhythm and having that down, if say I've finished an issue and then it's before there's the weekend, then that means throughout the weekend I'll have a couple different days to go and really think out more than just that 2 or 3 sentences and maybe what the ending is. It'll be a matter of doing more details, story details specifically to add in there, And then when it comes to that next Monday, then I get to start to the actual drawing page by page. And besides, little things I wrote down, it's a matter of intuition when it comes to what goes in from page to page. I don't exactly script them, and I don't exactly lay them out or sketch them out. More often than not, there have been some times where I will go, and I do have one of those type of sketchbooks. It's actually right here. This in particular because it's the size and shape of the sketchbook where it is the exact same size and shape of what a printed comic book page dimensions are. I'll show you right here with this Trade of the Darkness. Basically the same size except for the space where they have the binding right here. And that's the perfect size to me for sketching out a page to have it at the page dimensions of what the printed page is going to look like. And even then, when there have been pages from issue to issue where I do go and actually sketch them out ahead of time, what I do with that sketch is not going to be one-to-one exactly what I draw when I'm there at the drafting table finishing it up. But there was there is having a basic concept, and more often than not, after that, when it comes to doing it page by page, it's more based on intuition of coming up with things as I'm moving along from page to page. This issue was different besides having a story written out, and also because it was a concept I'd had for a while when it came to Encrypted. This was a plot concept that came to me well to the point of when I was already in the middle of doing the third issue. And also the extra time besides jotting that story down of, like I said, coming up with these Lego models to have like a three-dimensional figure for reference for the locations and the designs of what this whole place is going to look like, from the general exterior to floor plan by floor plan for the 3 floors and the rooftop garden and its dungeon and all of that. So that's where that's all been coming from. And that was really an idea that came on account of seeing different things when it came to doing 3-dimensional models for locations for doing comics and also for video games. It was a combination of remembering seeing when Cerebus the Aardvark was in the middle of its Jaka's story arc, that the background artist on that had actually gone to that case preparing for those issues by coming up with architectural floor plans for the locations where those issues took place, as well as making 3-dimensional models with like cardboard and illustrations of what those buildings would look like, so that he could look at them from any angle from which potentially would be those backgrounds that he would have to be going and drawing in for the story. And the other was during the development, there's like behind the scenes stuff of the first Metal Gear Solid game, that the different levels and different locations for the game were modeled out by making Lego models of each floor and each level, and using like a little digital camera to try to show what the perspective would be like, the camera of the game on those Lego models of where the first Metal Gear Solid took place. There's a mix of hearing and seeing that, and thought, okay, well, considering the story itself is very much a Fiona going through a Sam Fisher sort of adventure where, like Splinter Cell, but it's, a Splinter Cell type of stealth story of her skulking around what's the proof of all the blackmail and perversion and Marquis de Sade orgies that happen at this castle, but doing it by way of, like I said, if Joe Esterhazy did a Splinter Cell game. Joe Esterhazy, for those who don't know, being the writer of Basic Instinct and Showgirls. There were previous pages where there was Fiona in a sexy schoolgirl outfit, Drake bringing her date up to that rooftop garden to start doing it right there for everyone to see. So it was a distraction because that was just a hologram, so that Fiona could actually be going through floor by floor what the castle is like. Hence, the floor plan for floor number 3 right here, and what she's potentially looking for, considering these different potential locations for what she's going through, or what it is she's looking for, what sort of blackmail information or other information relating to shady overlords who shady shadow government type of people. Actually, not Eyes Wide Shut. I know Eyes Wide Shut is like the thing that people will always like reflexively bring up, but it's actually inspired more by a Marquis de Sade story called The 120 Days of Sodom. Yeah, long before the Eyes Wide Shut was ever a thing, there was another well-known and very even more disturbing story of aristocrats performing deranged orgies. It was a story that, yes, the Marquis de Sade had written that then was found like in a hole somewhere in a chamber where he was kept, that then it was discovered during, I believe, the storming of the Bastille, where it was about a group of aristocratic libertines taking prostitutes, private security, and a bunch of underage boys and girls they abduct and form their own little country on a little island resort where they physically and sexually torture them for 120 days. It got made into a movie in the 70s that, of course, the same film critics who hated and feared Hit Girl killing criminals in the movie Kick-Ass are all universally praising the movie Sallow, or The 120 Days of Sodom is the full title, as a brilliant work of iconoclastic art. Mainly because it's a movie that couches its violent sexual perversion with most socialism is good, because the filmmaker who did it, Piero Pablo Pasolini, was an Italian socialist and a serial pedophile who died not too long after Sallow was released, when he tried to lure in an underage boy in Italy and shove the other end of a plunger in his ass. So the underage boy jacked his car and ran Pasolini over with it in self-defense. Something that, you know, makes Mr. Girl very, very terrified at the thought of that happening to him. But well-deserved. Yes, because the whole idea of what's going on here, actually, yes, I have seen that too. Quills, like back in the day, yeah, where Jeffrey Rush was, the whole movie was entirely made up, but it was about the Marquis de Sade. But yes, it was its own. It was based on a novel about the real guy, but of course, completely going off on its own tangent about it. And of course, the whole idea of, well, he has the right to go and write what he writes and say what he wants, from the same people where if you show them a writer like Chuck Dixon, who dares to have a political view to the right of Chairman Mao, they'll call him a deranged, evil, shrieking, unstable ideologue, because rules for thee, but not for me. It says, Luke dropping in and out. I guess that must be something with Kim's satellite over here. If anybody else is watching, if the signal's dropping in or out, just say yes or no, because from my end here, signal's going well. Like I said, in the last couple of years, yes, Puma, ironic, isn't it? About how you show them anybody, even a New York Times bestselling author who went on Charlie Rose and was accepted by the whole intelligentsia and even had huge Hollywood movies made of his work, Tom Clancy. Still, because, you know, his first big book, The Hunt for Red October, was something that publicly Ronald Reagan endorsed, and he himself, Tom Clancy, talked about being an avowed Republican. There's even some footage I found of him doing a speaking engagement at some like political event in DC in like the 2000s, in the like 90s, where he talked about the 1972 election. You all should be very grateful that George McGovern never got to be president. He finishes it with a joke by saying, unfortunately, Richard Nixon did, but the fact that he opened it with saying George McGovern, the Democrat, automatically, you know, Tom Clancy, even nowadays, if he was, you know, that lowly 30-something insurance salesman who wrote a novel about a rogue Soviet submarine commander that was defecting with this new high-tech submarine, but if they would look at his political views on his social media feed before they would go and look at his work. Like if I went to DC or Marvel Comics with the, you know, the pages that I've been drawing and all that, sans any context of what the actual comics are, the first thing they would do, you know, they would look at my voter registration or look at my social media and comb it for political views before they would ever say yay or nay on wanting me to draw anything. Even if it was Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew, I would be too much of an alt-right fascist for them to want to hire. Well, fuck off, because, well, the joke's on you. Maybe now you know why, for how much that they won't ever want to hire real right-wingers or anybody that even isn't just right-wing, but they don't agree with the increasingly insane shit that Mark Wade is saying on social media. That means they won't hire them anymore and won't want to make those comics anymore, while quietly admitting that all of the stuff that DC published for decades, that was far more in line with what people who don't want to rape 5-year-olds and call it freedom of speech say than those that do. Hence why now with those DC finest trades they're doing, I just saw it now. It's been up for a while, and they even have copies of it up at Liberty Comics down the road for it's a DC finest trade of like a compendium of military comics they did. It's simply called War, and it's a combination of issues from GI Combat and the other military anthology titles that they did in the 60s and 70s. And now for pre-order, and it's going to be available on shelves in a few months, is a DC finest just of Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock being the big badass army comic that Joe Kubert did. That was one of the most famous comics he ever did, was a run on that with writer Robert Kanigher. It's almost as iconic to Joe Kubert, one of the all-time greats, as the work he did on Hawkman. Puma says, your stream is fine. Well, then I'm guessing it must be up to Kim because, well, Weatherman had been gone for about a month plus because of the internet service failures he was having. And now he just simply went and got himself Starlink, which has been working well for him since. So that's nice. And getting him back in there. As we got this. Get this going. And that was just a little bit of green tea right there. Pumafist says, I wish people would make stories about the human condition instead of religious or political issues, which is, well, something Joe Kubert did with, doing entertaining stories like the Hawkman stuff. Or if you look at either the Sergeant Rock stuff he did, where he really actually, gave human portrayals of military personnel that were still adventure military stories, as opposed to some shrieking anti-war bullshit made by people who've never thrown a punch, but they want to tell you what the truth about war is, like, fake conscientious objectors like Alan Moore when he did that shit called Real War Stories, real meaning pinko horseshit, made by and for people who've never served in the military, but they're going to want to tell you what the service is really like. My mom, the Cal Arts flautist, has more direct knowledge and experience with frontline military combat than Alan Moore or your boy Zach. Considering my mother, because of my douchebag father who financially drove his own family into the ground, my mother enlisted in the Army weeks after giving birth to her third child. Yes, that my mother, the Cal Arts flautist, who went and did that, versus my father, the guy who wouldn't shut up about playing high school football, who was too lazy and shitty and full of himself to even open a door by himself. Yes, that kind of guy. And when it comes to the human condition, you also have atrocities that are not meant to go and browbeat you into voting Democrat, which Joe Kubert also did with the comic he did in the 90s called Faxes from Sarajevo, which was all just a comic Joe Kubert drew, where basically he was doing a comic adaptation, like when he did a comic adaptation of the Bible. Joe Kubert did what Faxes from Sarajevo was, a comic adaptation about a literary agent out in Sarajevo that he knew, who him and his family survived the Serbian siege of Sarajevo that happened in the 90s. And they were in a building that still had running electricity. So to update people they knew about what was going on, they had a working fax machine in this building that still had power going. So the whole ordeal of what this guy and his family was going through were all documented through these faxes from Sarajevo that then Joe Kubert went and did a comic of. And it's one of those, I know it's that type of comic that's like, it would be something that Fantagraphics would publish, the kind of thing that's the comic book that, the Art Spiegelman types praise, and that the New Yorker would be the magazine to write up about, or basically the comic book equivalent of like a Miramax movie from the 80s or 90s, that kind of thing. Although, well, I like to think that people in comics were far less, browbeaten into giving sex favors to Harvey Weinstein in exchange for success. And I hope that was less of a thing in comics business back then with Fantagraphics, like it was with Miramax and their movies in the 90s. And yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to Donnie right there. Puma says, I understand politics and religion play a major role in the human condition. I just don't want to be... I'm guessing, get beaten over the head with a message that doesn't explore why we are here. Yes, I mean, that's why I'm the polar opposite of how most of the people whose work of Garth Ennis they like them, or the work of his they like is the opposite of what I like of his work. I completely just, even the concept alone of Preacher, I can't stand. Preacher comes off like Reddit atheist, the comic book. and of course, shock value, attention, desperate, anti-superhero edgelord shit, like every other Brit bong comic writer who comes to America can't stand doing superheroes, but superheroes is what gets them the big paychecks that they get from American comic book publishers. So they wind up, being completely dejected by that. But then the opposite end of that is everything else Garth Ennis has done as a writer that the Rich Johnstons of the world in the comic book business don't ever want to bring up, which is all the military history stuff he's written, as well as other work he's done that revolves around characters where superheroes are not portrayed as the most evil thing ever, whether it's the work he did writing Ghost Rider for a bit, or his first big creator-owned thing, or at least his first big original character thing he did in America in the 90s being Hitman, where you had that taking place in the mainstream DC universe, and Tommy Monahan's interactions with the big DC heroes were all written and portrayed with respect, from the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern to Batman, because the comic took place in the Irish part of Gotham City. So that's always something that he hates superheroes, and that's why he's so cool. He hates God, and that makes him so cool and smart. And then, but hence why they just want to act like all he ever did was The Punisher, Preacher, and The Boys. But then I said, like, all that military history stuff he's done, or works like Streets of Glory, that Western he did, where an Injun is portrayed completely as an unrepentant psychopath with no sympathy, or, oh, it's because the white man made him do it. No, he's just a psycho Injun who likes to scalp people and rape women. No wonder Ennis had to go all the way to Avatar Press and get an artist who worked on Avatar's licensed slasher movie comics and underground hardcore porno stuff to draw it for him. And of course, something else, don't forget about The Darkness, which Ennis co-created with Mark Silvestri. And that just being a well-written, imaginative, creative, by the 90s standards at least, entertaining fantasy type of action comic. So yeah, the supernatural horror that Ennis can do that doesn't have that tinge of Reddit atheism, like with that, or certain issues from his Hellblazer work, from what I've heard, and also the military action, like, well, Hitman was supposed to be that in the context of him dealing with DC's metahumans and all that. And Commander Classified's coming on in. Everybody say hello to Commander Classified. Nice to see him back. Nice to see him back on this time and this day, where we've got page 12 right here for you to see. And also for Commander, don't forget that now we've got the first two issues of Encrypted up and ready to go. Just ask for them, and I can drop in a payment link for you, Commander, so that we can get it there across the border into the Great White North for the both of these, which we know that the blackface-wearing socialist shithead prime minister of your country would definitely not like the contents of these. But then again, who would trust the judgment of a guy whose favorite Kids in the Hall character is Mississippi Gary, the blues singer that the one cast member would do in blackface? Yes, everything's been going well this evening. I mean, even with the cold out there, I've still been getting up and out this last week plus, after being so much time insulated because of the cold, what's going on with it being a Michigan January. A Michigan January and February, dealing with all that. But now, with it still being cold, but I don't care, as long as it's not, snowing by the foot, I'm getting up and out, and it certainly has been helping. So let's go in and get that link. Here's an issue 1. All right. And our poem was bringing up, I don't think I've ever seen a comic where a character really thinks about what their role in society is without politics or religion. Well, that's the kind of stuff where you really get into like the memoir comics. That's where you get into work like Harvey Pekar, or, with American Splendor, or Eddie Campbell with that work at Alec that he did, that series. Since as far as I know, which is especially strange considering how, the thing Eddie Campbell's most remembered for is collaborating with Alan Moore well, here and then here in his own work, he's able to go and do things that are not all about just, fart huffing, about fart huffing his own politics or his own religious views or anything like that. As far as I know, with either Alec or with Bacchus being that story, that comic that Eddie Campbell wrote and drew himself and even self-published. And actually, as he kept on doing Bacchus, when From Hell was finally finished, its initial collected form was was through Eddie Campbell's self-publishing venture after From Hell was finally finished, and as he kept on going with Bacchus. And yes, for Commander, those are the payment links for copies of issue 1 and copies of issue 2. And Commander says, that said, I just got done with the MRI I've been waiting for over a year. All right, Commander, well, what are those MRI results in case, if you want to share. If you don't want to share, that's perfectly fine. As Puma continues with, the devil saw me on my knee and thought that he had won, till I said amen. Yes. Yes, well, the chain, the necklace itself broke, but I still have this. That was a gift from my Aunt Donna down in Georgia. All right, well, Commander is waiting for the results. I hope the results are, that they're positive results. I would love to see a story about someone with superpowers who is trying to decide how they can best serve humanity. Well, there are stories like that out there. It's just a matter of whether or not they go for the edgelord evil Superman sort of thing. And that's probably why superheroes is something I really, as much as I am not how the Reddit and Redditors and Tumblr bloggers think Garth Ennis is, where it's just all about how much he hates superheroes. It's more a matter of, well, I just don't have any interest in writing them because they've been so repetitive and one note, and like even something like that is something that's out there, whether it's mainstream DC or Marvel stuff. But since DC is more open towards doing like alternate history or like Elseworlds kind of things with their characters, whether directly through the Elseworlds imprint or if it's something that's like prestige, the treatment, like, Kingdom Come or what have you. Or then you get the creator-owned superhero things like Astro City. It's still, the superhero's place in the world, that's been done. When I think about it, I can't help but really think of that song that was all over the late 90s. It's all been done. It was all over the radio. That cartoon show on the WB, Baby Blues, was the theme song. It's all been done. Yeah, basically. I mean, that's why I'd rather literally anything else. And well, lucky for me, I was able to come up with a concept that would be something that would sustain an ongoing series, even if it's for, the 12 issues I am planning to do with Encrypted one way or another. With finishing issue 7 right here with the bi-monthly schedule means we've got more than enough material to go and keep on the publishing schedule until next January. But yes, the next 5 months after finishing issue 7 is then going to be all the time spent with Encrypted will be on really focusing on selling the book and taking in people's, actual, results of what they think of it or not think of it, and applying all of that and developing that and growing that. But then but putting more of that attention into selling the story, and then come September, get back on to making issue 8, and that last quarter of the year, get an issue done in those next 4 months. So then we'll be up there for issue 11, and then hold back on that because then by New Year's, then that means I'll have 11 issues done of. And when it comes to whether or not there will be an audience to sustain going on past 12 issues, will then dictate whether or not I'll make issue 12 the conclusion or make it that, the story keeps on going. So that's why. And having the next 5 months of every drawing thing I'll be doing not being revolving around Encrypted means, yes, I'll do more of, the kind of streams people are know for, and also finishing the other comic I was doing for channel members for Slick. Getting that done, and then having that being posted as a webcomic, either through Webtoon, or maybe go back onto that, but make it like a thing as like a regular, like maybe once a week or like once a day or so kind of member community post. Do it like that, like it's a Webtoon sort of deal where it's a page a day, like webcomics would be done, like Doug TenNaples' Rat Fist, but for channel members, or just go to the Webtoon route. And one way or another, however long I'll do Encrypted, the next comic I'll go and get printed and published after Encrypted is done will be a physical version of that, of Slick. Like how, well, I mentioned Rat Fist, and also one of those titles that Warren Ellis did for Avatar Press called Freak Angels, which was a webcomic that then got printed as a physical series. The superheroes are always politically, ideologically, or religiously motivated. Nobody's made a comic about a superhero that was based on altruism. Well, there was one built on, there have been some built on objectivism, if you remember either The Question or is the original The Question or Mr. A, but then that's a whole different story altogether. Now let's get physical. Something you won't see on a Drunk 3PO stream, the talent portion. Because I saw, yeah, Mike S. Miller, he's been recovering enough from his stroke that now he went and did like a I'm back stream earlier this afternoon that was mainly focused on that guy Shadiversary and all the stupid shit he's been saying about religion lately. But then again, Shadiversary, you know, there's a guy to whom, I mean, from what I've seen of him, he really is... I can understand why he's so conspiratorial about his channel completely disintegrating. It may or may not have something to do with the fact that, well, that Shadiversary is an example of how you can still have friends with all of the right anti-woke people on social media, and you can have an accent, but still your channel can wind up as dead as Drunk 3PO's brain. Because as we've been lamenting around here, when it comes to how the anti-woke content creators on YouTube roll like a high school clique and all that, really, especially with those type of people nowadays, with how much the YouTube algorithm did not like how much those geeks and gamers type of channels grew because of ranting about how bad Captain Marvel was and how bad The Last Jedi was. Well, now the only way for channels like that, any new channels like that to grow is pretty much built on being friends with Geeks and Gamers or Nerdrotic or The Critical Drinker. Like, all the comedy actors have got to be leading men on the back of being friends with Adam Sandler. And, e.g. people like Disparu or Shadiversary, or I mentioned Despot of Atrium, or, most especially Beardo and Drunk 3PO. And then you have Shadiversary, even though... yeah, look at, stupid things he's been doing and saying, and even with him regularly having an undeserved place there on Friday Night Tights, yeah, turns out that channel ain't exactly doing so well. And you've got, people that were collaborating with him leaving him and all that. And now he's saying stupid shit about Mormonism. Yeah, Puma Fist, Mike Miller had a stroke. He's been recovering now. I mean, to the point where now he was able to do that stream today where he talked about how I don't walk with a cane like I was when doing recovery. Here's all these like other dietary things that were recommended on account of what led to me having the stroke that he recovered from. And and remember, Mike S. Miller, when it came to, the like 18 different variant covers that Yellow Flash had for his comic, The Mighty Golden Patriot, I purposely picked out of all the variant covers, the Mike S. Miller one, knowing Mike S. Miller is one of those guys that, a fat boy from New Jersey, the one who's, Captain Pizzeria Dumpster, was shitting on and picking fights with the most. So I out of all those, oh, wait, yeah, I'll pick that one. I even said to Yellow Flash on a stream, the further piss off, Ethan Van Fat, you really should go and try to commission Doug TenNapel to do a variant cover for a future comic. And yes, Alpha Proto, holler to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And yes, I hope we're all happy that Mr. Miller's recovering well. Strokes are unpredictable. I mean, of course, Chris Gore had one not too long before the stroke that my father had the morning after Christmas. That's why I spent New Year's in the hospital and was there all the way until that Sunday, that 11th of January, where I got woken up by the nurse that told me that he had died while I was sleeping. And then, there in the middle of a Michigan blizzard, I went and, okay, well, you've got 2 hours to vacate. Vacate, not vacay, in case you're misunderstood my diction. I mean, I got up and moved around or whatever. I did go there. There is this one like little local cafe I usually ride past on the street that goes down where the hospital where my father was. The street I would ride on the bike all the way up or down to get from there back to the house and back and all that. There was this cafe I passed, and I decided to go in there today instead of going to other places I usually go into. And they actually had an interesting little setup for St. Patrick's Day. This nice little mom and pop cafe called Cafe Bella, if I'm remembering the name right, had a St. Patrick's Day tree in the corner of their setup. Yes. With the leprechaun plush toy and the hats and the shamrocks and all that. They're celebrating well. And well, I showed you all that one upload from Good Bad Flicks. That's a channel I'm a fan of. Well, years before, that curious gentleman did do a review of the Best of the Leprechaun series, Leprechaun 4. Leprechaun 4, the one that co-stars Joanna Man and the Pam Anderson replacement from Home Improvement. That's right here. 13 years ago.
TurboTax location.
It's very as festive as you can to try to, entertain yourself while dealing with the blistering cold of a Michigan March. Well, no parade. I didn't go to downtown today, so I honestly can't say. Where my sister is in Chicago, of course, they have a famous parade every year downtown there that, has been portrayed in movies like in The Fugitive and all that. But I wouldn't, I don't know. I would assume that they would. And where I'm living right now, East Point, well, it was such a predominantly Irish neighborhood for so long that street signs around here have a little clover on them. But, that I didn't see any parade or anything like that around here when I was out.
You keep a horror franchise going long enough, and eventually they go into space. Pinhead went into space with Hellraiser Bloodline, Jason Voorhees left Crystal Lake and went into space in Jason X, the Critters went back into space with Critters 4, and I'm pretty sure Jigsaw will find his way into space if they keep going with the Saw movies. For a franchise like Leprechaun, going into space makes just about as much sense as going to Vegas, or the Hood again. Leprechaun in Space is a 1997 comedic horror film from famous Osploitation director Brian Trenchard Smith. The movie opens somewhere in the future. A spaceship full of space marines is tracking down a vicious alien. Sergeant Tinfoil Head is explaining their mission to the soldiers. The ridiculously cute Dr. Tina Reeves shows up to tell the sergeant she's going on the mission with them. I've never met a female scientist that looked like this. The sergeant contacts his boss, Dr. Mittenhand, who's like a combination of Dr. Evil and Colonel Clink.
Dr. Reeves is the ship's biological officer and my personal assistant. You will see to it that she is protected at all times.
The Marines gear up and head down to the planet.
Having fun?
Oh! Who's driving this, Rachel?
Actually, yes. On the planet, Princess Zarina is being held captive by a vicious alien life form, the Leprechaun. He might be ugly, but damn is he smooth.
I'm Love's own messenger, sent to bring you tidings of joy and the promise of newborn ecstasy. Take a seat. A little of the bubbly to put us on more friendly terms.
The princess is covered in glitter. Is she a vampire? The Leprechaun's plan is to marry the princess and become a king. This will somehow make the universe bow before him? I think this is all just an elaborate plot so he can bang a hot blonde. The princess turns down the Leprechaun's advances, so he resorts to the 100% surefire way to get any woman's attention. Money.
They're beautiful.
There's plenty more where that came from.
You begin to interest me.
The Marines land on a planet which looks like it was made out of Play-Doh.
You'll have everything you ever wanted.
Well, except for a husband who's over 4 feet tall. One of the Marines finds the Leprechaun's stash and starts to steal it. The Leprechaun sneaks up on him, and I don't think George Lucas is gonna like this. The Marines get into a firefight with the Leprechaun. My god, these guys shoot like stormtroopers. The princess isn't very smart, is she? She hears gunfire, so she runs towards it. The Leprechaun jumps on a grenade to save the princess. One of the Marines pisses on the body of the Leprechaun, and either the Leprechaun just traveled up his pee stream, or...
Oh, shit! Oh, way to go, KO. I'll give you a round of applause, but I see you already got the clap.
The Marines head back to the ship with the princess. Why is the princess covered in bubble wrap? Are they shipping her somewhere? Some really high-tech gadgets here. A metal folder with a calculator glued inside. Dr. Mittenhand's assistant shows off their shrinking and enlarging ray. The Marines are in the ship's onboard dance club getting drunk. Now I see why Debbie Dunning was cast in this movie. Dolores and Kowalski sneak off for a little, tool time. Well, this conversation is stupid.
What the?
Shake hands with the big guy.
Baby, take it easy. You don't want to hurt Mr. Snake.
The Leprechaun managed to sneak on board in Kowalski's pants.
Let that be a lesson to you, lad. Always wear a prophylactic.
Wire. Harold is doing naughty things to the unconscious princess. Mittenhand's face is priceless. I want to have that saved so whenever someone's doing something awful, that pops in. The princess's hand was blown off by the grenade, but because of her DNA, it rejuvenated. The Marines go to find Kowalski's body. Books and Mooch head into the waste disposal chamber, which is filled with flesh-eating bacteria. Good thing he had a tiny hazmat suit. He cuts open the suit and Mooch gets melted. The sergeant tells Mittenhand that their contract is up and they're going to give the princess to the Leprechaun and go home. Boom, Mike. Mittenhand shows up, but he's some sort of cyborg. He makes a deal with them to stay on board and kill the Leprechaun. The Marines start hunting for the Leprechaun.
You don't think Kowalski's getting killed was my fault, do you?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I'm the one that gave him a boner and all.
Forget about it. Kowalski would have wanted it that way.
Debbie Dunning gives boners, kills men. The Leprechaun finds Danny and flattens him. Harold is working with Mittenhand to drain all the blue raspberry culotta out of the princess. Mittenhand wants to use the princess's DNA to rejuvenate his body. Dolores gets separated from the other Marines, and can't they just break through this door? It looks like it's about as sturdy as a diner partition. She shoots the Leprechaun, but of course he's not really dead. She's holding on with one finger. The Leprechaun uses some trickery to get into the lab. Why does the lab have a doorbell?
Let me in, please. They tore off all my clothes. Let me in before they come back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You saved my life.
The Leprechaun kills Harold and brings out the Gimp.
But I have something wonderful in store for him, my lovely.
He takes the princess's DNA and mixes it with a spider and a scorpion. Why exactly these things are on a spaceship in the first place is never really explained. He then injects the slurry into Mittenhand. The Marines show up and the Leprechaun escapes. The Leprechaun covers the sergeant in explosives and takes him hostage. Why didn't he just do this earlier and to all of them? This has to be one of the most ridiculous reasons for a nude scene ever.
This is your fate. You have no one to blame but yourselves. Unspeakable pain awaits you.
Yeah, what hurt me first?
I'm confused, so what does my future have to do with me giving you a motorboat? The Leprechaun puts the sergeant in drag, and is it me or does he look like Kathleen Turner? Mittenhand wakes up and he can what?
I can fuck.
The remaining survivors fight the sergeant and trick him into frying himself. The leprechaun sets the ship to self-destruct. Mitten Hand, now Mitten Spider, is having trouble controlling himself. Styx goes to shut down the self-destruct, but runs into Mitten Spider. Books and Tina get into another shootout with the leprechaun. Haven't they figured out yet that bullets don't work on him? Tina accidentally hits the enlargement ray and creates a visual oxymoron. Tina escapes to go help Styx, and Books stays behind to fight the leprechaun. The leprechaun is trying to step on Books, and why doesn't he just use his magic? Mitten Spider does the audience a favor and steals Tina's pants. She makes her way to the lab and freezes him with liquid nitrogen. Books rescues the princess and opens the cargo doors so the leprechaun gets sucked into space. I guess the budget ran out because that's the same explosion from earlier. You can even see the pipes. Tina figures out the password and stops the ship from exploding. The leprechaun then gives us a fitting ending to this whole thing. The movie was shot in Los Angeles, California for about $1.6 million. Director Brian Trenchard Smith made a name for himself with Australian exploitation or Osploitation films in the 1970s and 80s. He's made such classics as Dead End Drive-In, BMX Bandits, which was Nicole Kidman's second movie, and the Quentin Tarantino favorite, Death Cheaters. Smith directed Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun in Vegas, which was the highest-selling direct-to-video movie of 1995. That same year, Apollo 13 was a huge hit. At a Christmas party at Trimark, somebody made a joke press ad of the leprechaun on Apollo 13. The joke started snowballing, and the next thing you know, Smith was pitching the idea to the executives. He explained the scene where the leprechaun exploded from Kowalski's pants in an homage to the chestburster scene from Alien. Mark Amin, the chairman of Trimark, loved it and greenlit the production. Speaking of the homage to Alien, the film is full of all kinds of nods to other films. From Full Metal Jacket,
our mission is search and destroy,
to The Fly, to McClintock.
I'm not gonna hurt you. The hell I'm not.
To Terminator 2. There's even another subtle nod to Alien by having Tina run around in her underpants at the end of the movie. Warwick Davis got his acting career started as Wicket the Ewok in Return of the Jedi. After that, the biggest thing he did was the outstanding Willow, which is one of my all-time favorite fantasy films. In 1993, he struck unexpected gold by starring opposite a then-unknown Jennifer Aniston in the original Leprechaun. The movie cost $900,000 to make, and it ended up grossing well over $8.5 million. With it being such a hit, they quickly made parts 2 and 3. While the original Leprechaun was played more for horror, the later ones are played mostly for laughs, especially Leprechaun in the Hood. Strangely, during his run as the Leprechaun, Warwick Davis made 2 family films that revolved around a leprechaun named Lucky. I know it may be hard to believe, but Warwick Davis's acting chops really shine through and add a certain magic to the character. I really can't imagine anyone else being able to pull this off. Is this movie ridiculous? Of course it is. It's called Leprechaun in Space. I love the over-the-top silliness of the series, and this is my favorite entry in the franchise. While, yes, the movie was intentionally bad, it had some genuinely funny lines in it.
Hey, 21st century, they still can't dance.
Take more penicillin to fix that shit.
Aside from the bad CGI, the effects were very good. The whole end sequence with Mitten Spider was incredibly impressive for such a minuscule budget. While I do enjoy quality films, there is just something to be said for a glorious B-movie. The kind of film where you can just sit back, turn your brain off, and watch a midget dressed as a leprechaun tell bad jokes and kill people.
Hope you all enjoyed that one right there. Let's see if there's a... Oh, and when it comes to other famous monsters that have appeared, let's go and show a little bit of this.
Starburst, different every time.
Which foundation is good for a steamy situation?
Let me take care of this.
The term deranged sociopath gets thrown around a lot by the media, but it really applies to my next guest. Starting today, you can see him in Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. Please welcome Jason. do. That's good. You know what I've noticed? I see all your movies, man. And you know what I've really noticed? You're angry. And I don't mean to laugh, excuse me, it's just the way I am. But you're angry. What happened, man? Where did it all begin? You know what I mean? Was it a woman? Did you get cut from the hockey team in high school? What happened? What's up? Okay, let me ask you this. I saw the new movie, Jason Takes Manhattan. You killed 16 people. I don't know why I'm laughing, man. You killed 16 people, and you were responsible for the death of 8 others. Total, that's less than what you usually kill in a movie. Are you getting soft? Are you losing a step? You're trembling, man. Oh, you brought a clip. Would you set it up for us? Set up the clip, like tell them, you know, how this fits into the movie and what they're about to see and all that kind of stuff. You set up the clip. Jason Takes Manhattan. This is clip.
I gotta skip past that for copyright's sake.
Working on the streets of New York, did you get a lot of people come up to you, ask for your autograph and stuff like that? Ever think about doing a musical? I'm running out of questions, man. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. You didn't kill anybody with that big knife you usually kill people with. Did you change because you were afraid of being typecasted as just a big knife killer? So what's next, man? Some more Jason's Part 9? I got some great titles I put together. Jason and the 3 Babies. What you think of that? Jason's Big Top would be funny. Oh, Jason Rabbit. That would be great. Oh, Jason, when Jason met Sally, would that be funny? You don't do many comedies, do you? I'd like to thank you for coming by. It's a pleasure. Jason, ladies and gentlemen.
And now we go into the legendary weigh-in between him and his most epic opponent.
All ages. Let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, to my right, with over 1,000 career kills, he's come back to life 7 times. Hailing from Elm Street, the man with the killer right hand, the Springwood slasher, Freddy Krueger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to my left, his opponent. Over 1,200 kills, 10 times resurrected, and he's got one mean machete. Ladies and gentlemen, from Camp Crystal Lake, introducing the Tower of Power, Jason Voorhees.
Gentlemen, please, at this time, we would like to have the weigh-in. Could you please step backstage here behind it? Mr. Kruger, Mr. Voorhees, please. Back here, please.
You're slow. You're stupid. And you're all washed up.
Freddy Krueger, 174 3/4 pounds. Freddy Krueger. Jason Voorhees, 275 pounds.
Jason, there's been a great deal of controversy about your training methods. How do you respond to that?
No comment. What's the matter? Can't you speak for yourself, hockey puck?
Senor Freddy, what do you anticipate will be your most difficult challenge in fighting Jason?
Waiting to see if this Goldie here can find the ring.
Freddie,
Woody,
do you feel your ability to speak and thus talk trash gives you a distinct advantage in intimidating Jason before your big fight?
I don't need no stinking distinct advantage. If Mama's boy here, he's big, he's dumb, he's slow, he's stupid, and he ain't got no style. Place your bets, people. See you in the ring, Voorhees.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Those are the official odds. Jason is a 2-3 favorite over Freddy, who is 7-5 as an underdog. Security. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the press conference, I believe, is over at this time. We thank you for coming to Dallas, Las Vegas. Don't forget, it's going to be the rumble between Freddy versus Jason. August 15th. We'll see you then, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Freddy versus Jason.
That was that's fun, isn't it? Just a little good time. How about we go back to a little bit of
You're
this?
probably right. Yeah. If I wore a dress once in a while or wore a little makeup, I'm sure I would feel a little more like a lady. Gosh, Mother, feminine advice coming from you means so much to me, considering that you're about as feminine as roadkill. You abandoned me in a dumpster and left me for dead. You're a she bitch from hell.
And nope, I didn't watch the Oscars. I lost all interest in the Oscars years ago. So yeah, I would sooner want to watch footage of Sam Kinison dying in that car wreck.
Yeah, he's home. I'll talk to you later, Mom. Bye.
Honey! Yeah. Happy anniversary, pumpkin face.
I don't believe it. You remembered even after 3 months of rehab.
Rehab? Hey, how about a drink?
Sure thing, sweet cakes. Why don't you take your coat off and sit down? I'll just go get dinner.
Okay, but hurry up, honey, because I've got a gifty boo.
Here we go, Sam. Happy anniversary.
Isn't that nice? A TV dinner. That's just wonderful. Because when I was in Betty Ford, I was so whacked out of my mind, I didn't even know what you cooked for me. But here I am, clean and sober, come home, starving, dying to eat, and what do you serve me? A goddamn TV dinner! Salisbury steak from a dead cow that died 6 years ago! Oh, why don't you just take a bag and puke in it and put it in a microwave, you You're a demon from hell! A demon from hell! Oh, wait, there's tater tots. I love tater tots. Oh, happy anniversary.
Literally, I saw nothing related to the Oscars, so, even paparazzi stuff afterwards, nothing at all.
You know what? I'm putting my hand in my pants and I'm looking for your present.
Uh-oh, you're gonna have to I found it! Yeah, I didn't think you got me anything, Sam!
Well.
Oh, isn't this sweet? Oh. Oh, look, it's birth control pills! Look at that! Isn't that charming? Birth control. I was expecting maybe a necklace or a bracelet. My birth control. You got me birth control. I guess this means that we can have sex more than once a year. Because that's how I was that cutie. You been in left bastard.
Oh, yeah? That's good sex with you as I in a corpse. You just lay there, you bloated, rotten, stinking carcass of hell.
Oh, that's a real compliment coming from you. Someone I used to do the hunting dance with, Jessica Hunt.
I love you, you gagging slob.
You're not my life, stop it. Can we talk? I'm trying to get some sleep in here.
Did we wake up our neighbor, Joan Rivers? Oh, we're sorry. Were we keeping you up, Joan?
Yeah, don't we didn't disturb your beauty sleep. We know how desperately you need it. See, now you look like a baboon. You'll never be around though. You're a loser. Oh, loser!
You're the elephant woman, the elephant woman. Oh, make it go away. I'm turning to stone. I'm turning to stone. Oh, no, we woke up the baby.
Oh, did Mommy and Daddy disturb your sleep, little muffin?
Do we interrupt your dream? Because you've been our nightmare, you little bastard!
We never wanted you in the first place. You were an accident. You were an accident.
You're only here because I was so up, I didn't know where I stuck my. Gee, I'm sorry if it's a burden on you guys, but first of all, I'm not even sure you're my real dad. As for you, yeah, you're a mother, the mother of all. Your milk is filled with tequila. I'll be in rehab before I'll be in kindergarten. I want to go back. I want to go back. Wah, wah.
That were two things right there. How about do a little bit of this one too?
Look God in the face and go, okay.
when it comes to that thing with In-N-Out, it's like some weird. The way that celebrities talk about In-N-Out Burger in California sounds like a cult. If it's so great, why is it only ever in California? Why wouldn't it be all over the world like, McDonald's is? Or Burger King or whatever? I like to know why. It's if it's the fast food chain equivalent of the if you're so smart, why aren't you rich? And hello to Forever right there, as we're in the middle of page 12 tonight. Getting down, yes, this is a framed picture. This is a portrait of a man, and yes, his portrait is framed by feathers. Where the feathers come from is a little hint as to something you'll be seeing in future pages of this issue.
At Discovery Cove, Paradise.
A little bit of a. That's just a little bit of that over there. That's just a little something, little something on the end. Let's try a little bit of this.
All right, I'll get into another low-budget monster flick in just a second, but first, filmmaker that isn't named John Waters, that is, Don Dohler. And today I'm going back to the beginning and talking about his first feature-length movie. Now, this one deviates a bit from his usual formula. Instead of being about an alien landing in rural Maryland and terrorizing a bunch of yokels, here a bunch of aliens do that. After years of putting out movie fanzines, eventually Don Dohler decided to take the initiative and make his own movie, writing, directing, and self-producing the alien factor himself. Like his other movies, this one has a real homemade DIY aesthetic, because according to Wikipedia, the budget was only $3,500, although some other sources I've read say the budget was more like $10,000. Either way, though, that was an extremely tiny budget for a movie, even back in 1978, which just goes to show that with enough determination, you can make your own movie, even if you don't have a lot of money. And while it only had a few theatrical showings, Dohler managed to sell the movie to several TV stations, which is where most people first saw it. Not bad, considering the budget here would barely even cover the catering on most other movies.
And considering that Clerks took $27,000 to make, and that movie consists entirely of insufferably long-winded, self-important dialogue scenes, perpetually filmed in a two-shot of New Jersey Gen Xers who really deserve a punch in the mouth. And here you have multiple alien costumes with on-location shooting that actually takes more effort than, having 2 shots in front of a funeral home once or filming around a convenience store in the middle of the night.
Nowadays, anybody can make a movie and just put it on Tubi or YouTube. But back then, if you wanted people to see something you made for no money, you really had to put some work in. Brought to you by Cinemagic Visual Effects, Dynametion's bargain bin cousin. All right, I joke, but for such an extremely low-budget movie, this opening title sequence is actually pretty well done. If I was around in 1978, I might have worn a shirt with this logo. Actually, you know what? I still might do that. There's a good reason the opening credits are the most professional-looking part of the movie. They were done by Ernest Farino, who also made the opening title to The Terminator. Okay, that's not quite J.J. Abrams doing the soundtrack to Night Beast, but it just goes to show everybody's got to start somewhere. Of course, I'm still going to make some jokes here. For example, Christopher Gummer sounds like a porn parody version of Christopher Plummer, like he'd play General Wang in Sex Trek 6. And you can't get through a movie like this without a whole lot of Johnny Walker. Anyway, that's enough of space. Let's get to where the action is. Bumfuck Maryland. Let's see. 2 people drinking and about to have sex in a car at the beginning of a monster flick? I'm sure they'll be fine.
The sun's going down, Rex. I guess you're gonna have to take me home now.
My parents gave me a curfew even though I'm 30. Bad news, not only does a monster end up cock-blocking this guy, but now the girl doesn't have a ride home. She's gonna miss her curfew. Oh, wait, never mind. Looks like she got a ride with the local sheriff.
I found Mary Jane Carter. She's a bit bruised up, and I think she's in shock. But she should be okay.
What about Rex Walker? His father called again a few minutes ago.
Wait, his father? Was this guy actually supposed to be a teen? I guess he must go to the same high school as Caroline Monroe and Slaughter High.
Rex is dead, Pete.
Damn, and tomorrow was going to be his 20th, 17th birthday. I don't know if the authorities in this town are equipped to solve this mystery.
She say anything about what happened?
Shock, Bert. She didn't say anything.
Oh, right. What about Rex?
Well, he's dead, so he didn't say much more than she did. The townsfolk are baffled, but it's still not as confusing as some of the editing here.
Rex wasn't looking for it, was he?
Oh, I see the movie's edible just kicked in. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it feels like I'm watching a gritty reboot of Slim Goodbody. Looks like we got another alien wandering around here, but thankfully, this one decided to wear pants. Jeez, the locals don't stand a chance. This town doesn't even have a real hospital.
I've been looking at these wounds, and something is not quite right.
Well, maybe if you did the autopsy somewhere other than this bedsheet fort you made for a sleepover, you'd have a better idea. The doctors are called by a local reporter who I think is in the living room right beside them.
Would it be fair to say that the likely cause of death at press time was an attack by a large animal?
Sure, and it's the late 70s, so just say a shark did it. Not content with the police investigation, a local posse decides to take matters into their own hands. We've got Charles Manson, Roger Daltrey, and, I don't know, Billy Squire, maybe? Actually, I could have just said he looks like Don Doler, since that's who that is. Oh, and of course, one of them insists that his girlfriend come with.
I still say we're nuts to take her.
Now look, man, we're taking her.
Look, when hunting a dangerous animal, my unarmed girlfriend is really gonna come in handy, which is also what I'm hoping to get later tonight when this is all over. So just shut up, okay? Unfortunately for these guys, even though they have guns, they forgot to bring their peripheral vision. It also doesn't help that none of them can aim worth shit.
I warned them earlier today not to go looking for the animal. I mean, I can only do so much.
What do you mean you can only do so much? What are you busy with in this town? You stopping people from making their own bathtub whiskey? And turns out they got more to worry about than the monster.
It's going to be tough, Sheriff. They're calling for 5 or more inches of snow tonight.
Yeah, I heard the forecast.
Okay, I don't have any proof of this. This is just theory, but I have a feeling they started filming in the fall. It snowed, so then they made that scene to explain it. Wait, what the hell? There's monsters that are invisible now? I don't know what this thing is, but it sounds like a pissed off Atari. And this effect kind of looks like one too. Anyway, what else is going on? I see the movie's second edible just kicked in. And looks like this guy's dead, but on the plus side, he doesn't have that stupid chin strap beard anymore. Let's see if the authorities are any closer to figuring out what's going on.
Besides being mangled, Rex's body was loaded with some sort of very lethal poison.
Which means it couldn't have been a bear or a bobcat that killed Rex.
That is true. Everyone knows bobcats are venomous and not poisonous. By the way, you may have noticed that this has a lot of the same actors as Don Dohler's other movies I've covered. We got the same guy who played the sheriff in Night Beast, the same guy who played the mayor. They even have the same names. And it's the late 70s, so of course the mayor's got to be a Jaws-style one who wants to keep everything quiet. Except this time, it's because of an amusement park being built nearby.
Amusement park? Jack, we're talking about a $30 million entertainment complex. I mean, it could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for this town.
Come on, Sheriff. Universal Studios Maryland could be a huge moneymaker for this town. Oh, and get this. At this point, the whole alien storyline just stops, and the movie shows a band playing at a local bar for several minutes. Yeah, I always wondered what it'd be like if Austin Powers sang for the Strawberry Alarm Clock. Eventually, this guy decides to get the hell out of there and go home. Although by the looks of it, one of the aliens is hammered and stumbling back from the bar too. Yeah, I feel you, pal. I too hate it when a home invasion interrupts my night of reading monster books and eating saltine crackers. Alright, I brought this up in other videos, but you ever notice that in horror movies, bad things only seem to happen in basements that are unfinished? See, if he had had some carpeting and a half bathroom down there, he might still be alive right now. And hey, we're almost halfway through and this movie still doesn't have a discernible main character. So screw it, let's introduce some new ones.
What can I do for you, Mr. Zachary?
I'm from over in Harford County. I work at the Garrett Observatory there.
Oh, sure, I'm somewhat familiar with that.
This is the first you're hearing of it, isn't it, Mayor?
Anyway, 2 nights ago, I observed a small meteorite that did enter the atmosphere. Well, by my estimation, it hit somewhere on the north side of your town.
Meteor, huh? I wonder if it's related to that spaceship that landed nearby. Zachary wants to investigate, but the mayor won't stop talking about the amusement park.
You see, I've got this pretty big business venture cooking for this town. Involves a huge entertainment complex being built right outside of Perry Hill.
Imagine a Euro Disneyland, but in America. Of course, we all know it wasn't a meteor that landed there. It's a spaceship.
Whether you're on the job or at home, Harbor Freight has the air tools and compressors you need.
Although this one's different from that other spaceship they showed earlier, which means we got some rival space aliens in this town. Either way, though, both wouldn't look out of place on a Hawkwind album cover.
Do you have any idea what this means, Mayor Wicker?
Hell yeah, the new amusement park's gonna have its own space mountain now. Also, I'm grading this on a movie with the budget of a used car curve here, but with that in mind, this forced perspective model shot isn't that bad. They also discover the occupant of the ship, and it's nice to know they have tracksuits in space. Not only that, but it also telepathically communicates the plot of the movie to Zachary. Turns out the monsters are alien zoo animals who escaped when the ship crashed on Earth. And I gotta admit, as far as plots for schlocky, zero-budget sci-fi flicks go, not the worst one. Zachary says there's 3 escaped alien animals: Noisy Cricket, Stilt Squatch, and that invisible one.
The only thing I know about that third creature is that it's hard to detect in bright light. I assume it must be some sort of an energy being.
Look, there's a much simpler explanation, Zachary, which is that they didn't have enough money to show it until the end. Now that they know what they're dealing with, they gotta figure out how to kill them.
Think I can stop the creatures.
With what? I thought bullets didn't have any effect on these creatures.
Well, yeah, but that's only if you miss. Zachary thinks he has a way of stopping the monsters without calling in the military, but I'm sure the local police will help him out.
Jack, I want you to give Mr. Zachary all the help you can.
Thank you, Mayor, but I would prefer to work alone on this.
Oh, whatever you think, Mr. Zachary.
Okay. I guess this town doesn't consider killer aliens much of a priority then. And I think the real terror in this movie is the soundtrack. It's like I'm getting screamed at by a ColecoVision. Well, they're going to be going through the woods looking for those aliens. Better burn that stash of Playgirls I put out here before anybody finds them. And you can kill some screen time by aimlessly walking for a few minutes, too. You might want to watch out for fake-out scares, though.
Hey, you haven't told me what you're doing out here.
Same thing as you, I guess. I didn't want anyone to find my stash of Playgirls. Hustlers. Bad news for these two. Not only are the aliens immune to bullets, but they're also immune to having an empty can weekly thrown at them. They also can't seem to run very fast, but that's not going to help if you try squirming away on the ground from them. Guess that alien finds the soundtrack annoying too. Oh, never mind. It was Zachary's doing.
Then you killed it. How?
I've got a high-frequency speaker over there. In effect, what I did was use an extremely high-pitched sound to burst its shell.
And if that didn't work, I was going to blast the Osmonds Christmas album at it. Nothing in the universe can withstand that.
I've extracted some fluid from the joint of this thing's claw. I'm sure it'll be the same poisons found in several of the victims.
Yeah, I don't think you need extra proof that this is one of the aliens that's been going around killing people. They'll probably take your word for it. And that includes the sheriff.
I'm going to go down the street and get some breakfast. I'm starved.
Yeah, you have been hard at work doing jack shit all day. And if anyone's wondering what happened to that tall furry monster they showed earlier... Building amusement park could potentially harm local small businesses. You know, it's weird. Even though this was Dolar's first movie and had a tiny budget, the monster suits here actually seem to look a little better than the ones in his later movies. Look, he even gave this one moving jaws. I mean... yeah, sure, the rest of them kind of looks like Chewbacca with Torgo legs, but still, that's a detail he didn't have to include. I maintain what I said in my earlier Don Dolar videos. These things can either be good Doctor Who monsters or mediocre Star Wars Cantina ones. I guess this alien's bulletproof too. Luckily, Zachary has a way to stop it. Insulin, my one weakness.
What did you use to kill it? It's a specially designed weapon I devised myself. It fires a projectile placed at the tip, in this case, a hypodermic needle, which injects fluid upon impact with the target.
What are you, the Maryland version of Q from the Bond movies? How are you making all this stuff? Despite Zachary getting rid of two of the monsters single-handedly, the sheriff still has some suspicions about him.
My hunch was right. I never heard of a Mr. Zachary at the Garrett Observatory.
Okay, he still killed two of the aliens, which is a hell of a lot more than you did. Who cares if he embellished his resume a little bit? All right, 2 aliens down, which means there's only one more to go, namely that invisible one we saw, or didn't see earlier. Now, you're probably thinking, an invisible monster? Dolar must have ran out of money and cheaped out on this one. Well, that's not quite the case.
Lather, rinse, repeat. It never feels like enough. It's not your products, it's your water. Culligan water softeners prevent damaging hard water buildup, revitalizing your hair and skin. Upgrade your root.
Yeah, that's right. This movie has a stop-motion animated monster in it. I mean... sure, it's see-through, and the animation isn't going to be giving Ray Harryhausen a run for his money or anything. But still, something like this had to have taken a lot of time and effort for such a low-budget movie. Not only does this have multiple aliens instead of Dolar's usual one, but he never attempted anything like this ever again. It's almost like because this was his first movie, he decided to put more effort into this one, then afterwards just said, all right, from now on, it's just one guy in a suit per movie. And turns out this thing's weakness is... hitting it with a stick? Or, I don't know, maybe the animator just ran out of money. Well, looks like all the alien zoo animals have been defeated. Wait a second. Wasn't there another alien wearing jeans at the beginning? Well, get ready for one final twist.
Mr. Zachary, are you all right?
You certainly are persistent, Miss Martin.
That's right. Turns out Zachary is actually an alien who's been sent to take care of the escaped animals. Now, you know what? I can see an episode of a 60s sci-fi TV series doing a twist like this. In fact, this whole movie is kind of like Doler just made his own Outer Limits episode.
I'm getting confused. If it can take the life out of others, why couldn't it kill you?
That's what you're confused by? Can you not see that he looks like a They Live burn victim?
I'm surprised you haven't figured it out.
Yeah, so am I.
I still don't understand. You're human like us and you speak English.
Wow, you are really dumb, lady. And wouldn't you know it, Zachary's the one alien in this movie that isn't bulletproof.
It was Zachary, Jack. It was Zachary. He wasn't gonna hurt me.
Nice one, Sheriff. Now you can take credit for killing all the aliens. By the way, that's where it ends. Now we got the feature length, so screw it, roll the credits. All right, even though this was Don Doler's first movie, if you're familiar at all with the rest of his filmography, you pretty much know what to expect here. Objectively speaking, this is not a good movie. The acting, directing, and production values are all amateurish, to the point where it almost feels like you're watching somebody's fan film than a real movie. But that's also weirdly part of the movie's charm. This is something that was clearly made by somebody who loved old monster flicks and decided to make one of his own with the limited amount of money and resources he had on hand. So while this may be easy to make fun of, it's hard for me to truly hate on it. Okay, sure, there's definitely some slow parts. Like a lot of these types of movies, it falls into the trap of showing people walking aimlessly for several minutes just to fill time and get it to feature length. But if you manage to have a fun bad movie night with Don Doler's other alien flicks, this one should work too. Just remember to bring lots of Johnny Walker. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.
Come on. Come on, let's do it.
Oh, here we go.
Local tax experts are here. Now you can meet with a TurboTax expert in your community. They can...
JonTron.
Hey, Jacques, guess why today's a special day?
I'm not going to do that.
Well, that's right, because today we're doing a video about birds.
How dare you say that to me? You know my mother was a bird.
Well, yes, yeah, I'm aware.
Are you trying to give birds a worse name than they already have? Has Pigeon Poopenheimer not done enough?
How dare you say that to me? You know my mother was Pigeon Poopenheimer. This movie right here, Birdemic, Shock and Terror. There is nothing that can prepare you for this. Now, for better or for worse, this is going to change your life, and I'm going to be the one to show you the light. So let's cut to the chase, and I'll take a gander. Get it? It's like a goose. At Birdemic, Shock and Terror, there's nothing in here. I've cheated you. I've cheated all of you, and you didn't even notice.
$10 for a large, $10 for any 3 toppings, $10 for your choice of hut crust, only at Pizza Hut.
At Michigan Auto Law, we put people over everything. But what does that really mean for you?
So, as you can see, our film of the hour begins with a wonderful Sunday drive through the hillside. You know, I gotta say, it's really progressive of the people who made this movie to hire a cameraman with only one arm.
So many fucking ad breaks. What don't you like? What is it that you don't like about JonTron? A 15-minute video has about 17 fucking ad breaks. Stop! Stop the madness!
When I tell you that I give it my all, I give it my absolute all to give my clients the life that...
How far are we into this movie? 11 minutes? Yeah. This is gonna be a long day. So literally, everything ever is going well for all the main characters at this point. Literally everyone's like, guess what? You won the prize! Oh my god!
You are welcome. You worked very hard, so here's your chance to impress them. Congratulations again.
It's so absurd, I can barely comment. There's a basketball scene. There's no birds. There's a car scene. There's no birds.
Here's a bird. There's no birds.
How dare you?
So then I guess, as is the logical progression, there's a scene where a guy comes to his house, and I'm telling all here, says he's from a solar panel company, and then installs a solar panel on his house. Literally. That's the scene. Think there's anything more? Think this is a setup to something good? No. Look, I'm fucking serious.
Hi, my name is Jerry Owens. I'm from Solar Power Accessories.
Where are you going to put it?
Come, and I'll show you.
Let me lay this down for you. Hitchcock, Kubrick, Coppola, Nguyen. Okay? Can we just get to the romantic subplot already? Please?
It's for you.
Thanks, that's sweet.
I work at a startup company called NCT Software. Got the stock option. Hopefully, the company makes it big by being...
Never mind, I take it back! Oh, jeez. Birds! It's happening! There's birds! I've never been happier to see a bird.
Wow. I'm right here. You didn't have to do that, but you did it anyways.
Yeah. Romance, no-mance, if you know what I'm saying. So next up, the girl goes home to her mom, which, can I say, this is true loveliness. It looks like the Tin Man has found true love at last. Now he just needs a brain. Oh! Stop! No, I'm serious. Stop. This is infringing on my rights. You stop that foot shit right now. Okay, we are 40 minutes into this movie, and I don't see any goddamn birds.
Well, that's about enough light for me for one day. Let me check the time. Yeah, it's about that time.
I take it back. Go back to when there weren't birds. Are these birds dive bombing? Like 1940s kamikaze pilots? With plane sounds? This scene just shows up 40 minutes into the movie. What? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Rock Bottom.
Damn it, ran out of gas.
Oh, I don't know what could have helped you out there. So a whole lot of absolutely nothing happens. Then they fight some more birds, and then just like that, the birds retreat. Are we done? Is it over? That looks familiar. Yeah, it was probably a good idea to leave this shot hanging for so long. Is the cameraman dead? Is he dead? Am I dead? Let me check my pulse. Yeah, this movie killed me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I still find more enjoyment in movies like The Room and Troll 2, but I think this movie holds its own among the Terabad titans that we've grown to love. Through all the putrid editing, horrible special effects, non-existent sound editing, cinematography of a toddler, droning music, cardboard characters, preachy as fuck environmental message, and everything else wrong with it, there's just something charming and lovable about it. If you can say one thing for this film, I guess you could go ahead and say it's about birds. But on the other hand, if you wanted to say something that made you sound like a critic that wanted to feel important about himself, I guess you could call it earnest.
So there you have it. The best, worst movie ever. Oh my God! What's that? Get that!
Thanks for watching! Now what I need you to do is click that big red annotation on the right and go watch some more continue. And if you click on the left, you can watch some more of my videos. But they're not as good!
Did she say she's auditioning? So I've been saving this movie for years. It's legendarily bad. Everyone who watches bad movies has seen this, except us. Because I wanted to save it for the show, and it just never felt like the right time. I think this is it.
Let's do it.
It's finally Birdemic. I think you're going to hate me after this. All right.
Not more than I already hate you.
Oh, God. Are we going to get the bad movie thing where you drive a car through the credits?
I have a feeling I'm going to get hammered in this movie. Into this, I didn't really have high expectations. But this is like really bad. Like
This is bad.
I think I actually might enjoy this. That might be the beer talking, but
This sounds like we're leaving the Shire. Like,
Yeah, it does.
Is driving really that
95% of this movie has been in a car or filming a car so far.
what is this song?
Why, do you recognize it?
Yeah.
It's intro to Lord of the Rings.
What does it take to win your business today? Okay, I'll give you that and 50% discount. Can we close the deal today?
Brutal.
All cars for this racing event will be powered with hybrid or electric technologies.
Wait a minute.
This has a whole.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Is this some climate change shit?
You didn't catch that when they started talking about the polar bears?
Population of polar bears is declining rapidly due to the melting of sea ice in the Arctic.
And that's why the birds.
What better movie to illustrate the crisis of climate change than this pile of shit?
Hi, Nelly.
I can't believe they didn't show her driving here. How did she get here?
Some of my friends say that my BSV stands for bullshit because I was so much of a salesman and not enough engineer.
Very funny.
Oh, oh my god. The Room has better dialogue than this.
This is brutal.
It's so bad.
I'll exercise that stock option, cash out, and walk away with tons of cash. My Silicon Valley dream.
I hope that happens for you.
This is like if you put story points in an AI thing and it just spat out dialogue.
Yes.
This is what it would be.
Yeah.
And then you had androids read it.
What do you like to do for fun?
Watch football, especially the 49ers. Also, part-time Eagles fan.
What?
Did he say he's
offended?
Did he say a 49ers fan and a part-time
Eagles fan? I need to find this guy and punch him in the face. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that.
Are we gonna what the fuck?
Yes. Yes.
Bullshit. There's no way one man did these effects. This took a Marvel-sized team.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have some great news. Our board of directors has agreed to the acquisition.
If I don't see a bird kill somebody in the next 5 minutes, I'm punching you in the throat.
For $1 billion.
The window's just, it's there, and well, between the feathers and that bird in the window, you'll get to see it's an extra preview of things to come in the following pages of this issue with what's going on in the window. And also just for the sake of scale of it's how tall the floor is compared to Fiona.
Dude, they just sold the business for $1 billion.
With a B?
All earned your stock option. Congratulations.
You get a stock option. You get a stock option.
Now you get a big payday with a big stock option, huh?
Yeah, I earned it. All those big deals I did with NCT and millions of dollars of revenues and sales.
Save money and wash your car as much as you want with free vacuums.
That's
with a
consolidation.
Oh
boy.
membership.
Enough
Featuring
with the
ceramic
pop-up.
table That's 4 times the shine. Stop by any Clean Express location or go online for more details.
That's it. S is for saving hundreds with Liberty Mutual.
God, right. We appreciate your contribution.
You did this to me.
I'm thinking about opening up a green tech company.
Really?
This thing makes me want to go start an oil spill.
Why did I sign up for this? Dude, the beers are starting to flow now because
I'm drinking.
Yeah.
This movie is brutal.
We're gonna hear the wind.
Oh yeah.
The sea is so beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is so bad.
I feel like you really respect me. That means a lot to me. I feel like I can do it.
Huh? Dude, we just.
What?
Huh? Oh.
Just hanging out, hanging out, hanging out.
Yeah.
Young ladies are doing their makeup.
Oh, pop and lock it, girl. Oh, robot. Oh.
How long did they make this poor woman dance?
Family, having ourselves a ball. It's a good thing.
What do you think?
Oh, the foot play.
Quentin Tarantino's getting hot somewhere right now.
Look how dirty her feet are.
Oh! I'm telling you, a bird needs to kill something.
I'm hoping a bird kills me.
Dude, for real.
12 seconds later.
What is happening? Oh my god, Brent. Pinch it off. Pinch it off. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. Wow. Of all the times.
Damn it, did I miss it?
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
I had to watch this drive around for an hour.
Yes.
And I missed the.
Rod?
Are we going to hear this goddamn sound forever?
I hope so.
Yes.
This is not real.
Wow. Wow.
What? What?
Yeah.
It's just like Duck Hunt.
Yeah, for real.
Duck Hunt had better graphics. What?
So there's a bird epidemic, and you're just gonna go outside now?
First of all, it's a birdemic.
My bad.
When you need comfort, bring out the Bob.
Oh, hey, how's your accident case going? Do you like your lawyer?
He's okay. I mean, he doesn't really call me back.
Second, yeah, why wouldn't you have a picnic?
This was made. Somebody made this. God, dude. And put money into this.
How is this real?
Don't you know that these birds are attacking people?
These birds?
Yes.
No way. They're dead from the bird flu virus.
Not those specific birds, you
What I do know is global warming is causing viral diseases such as bird flu, West Nile virus, and SARS. In the last few years, 40 species become extinct because of global warming.
The best way to end that is if one of them would have been like, the fuck are you talking about?
You should come with us. It's safer. I don't need protection. I can take care of myself.
I can't. I have to stay 500 feet away from children.
Where's Becky? She's taking a shit.
What? What? Did they puke on them?
Oh.
Did they explode?
Oh. This is a movie that keeps on giving.
Yeah, did they shit acid? What?
Wow. Wow. Charging it. Oh my god. In an apocalypse. I feel like this is a good pee break.
That's what I thought. You Seagal'd right out of that chair, dude. That thing just kamikazed the gas station. What the?
Oh.
Get out of here.
I would have the kids at this point get the gas and the gun.
Well, yeah, if the kids die, you still have the woman, right? You can just make more like him.
Right? I mean, this is simple math, guys.
Pedo Jack here.
That's my house.
Is that real?
What's
hair?
with the wig?
Yeah. It's high enough that the birds can't get to it.
So, you're a tree hugger?
You could put it that way.
So the birds aren't going to attack him because he likes the natures.
Oh my god, you cracked the code.
Besides, it's not the eagle that I worry about. It's the dry drought weather that's killing these trees. There's not enough rain and water.
Except for the stream.
River!
I'm Rod, this is Natalie, Susan, and Tony.
Dude, just point your gun at the children.
Yeah. He's using...
He literally was pointing at them.
Or they just run into a random forest fire. Okay.
Damn it, I ran out of gas.
You dumb bitch. Why'd you yell that at her? Why?
Did you get a sound effect as it was diving into it? Oh. How do you think this movie's gonna end? Like, what is the end game here? Like, a lot of like apocalyptic movies, right? They're like, we got to get to this base, or we got to get to my old house, or something, right?
Yeah.
This is just like mindlessly running around with zero gas.
So if this is a little bit of a ripoff of the birds,
Uh-huh.
the birds just stop, right? The end of the birds. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think the birds just stop. So I'm guessing that's what happens here.
A few moments later.
Look, they're leaving.
Oh my god, I can't believe you freaking called this. I cannot believe you called this.
Do you think these kids are old enough yet to appreciate that they were in like one of the worst movies ever? Or do they not tell anybody about it because they're in one of the worst movies
If
ever?
they're from LA, they are 100% bragging about this.
Samsung Beyond Boundaries covers 99% of the country with in-home TV and appliance repair. So no matter how far off the beaten path, we'll find a way to your door. With 99% US coverage, we got you.
The hot, crispy filet o fish with soft steamed buns, tender, flaky fish, melty cheese, and
What about the two adults?
They probably OD'd at some point after this, soon after this movie was made.
Well, I mean, like this dude, when he gets off his shift at Denny's, does he talk to people about being in Birdemic?
This is like Lord of the Rings, where there's like 5 endings at the end, you know?
Okay, so that was Birdemic. What did you think?
Man. I want to say like the first half of that movie was brutal.
It was hard to watch.
Like, really tough. I mean, it had like some things to laugh at because it was so incompetent.
Yeah, the sound levels jumping and the horrible dialogue.
The dialogue was terrible.
There isn't an in-focus shot in the first 30 minutes.
No. I mean, there were shots that were literally like crooked.
The driving one is making you nauseous.
Yeah, it literally was making me nauseous. So, you know, it had little gems in but then once the Birdemic started.
Yeah, I happen to be taking a piss and I miss all the explosions.
Oh my God, Brant, pinch it off. Pinch it off. Dude, it came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. And then it hit the ground running. Man, I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
I think that because I'm like a 6-pack deep, I would say so bad it's good. So for those watching, if you've had at least 6 beers, it's worth watching. But anything less.
Oh yeah, you can't watch this without drinking.
No.
No. Yeah, I think this is definitely so bad it's good in that if you like bad movies, you have to watch this.
Yeah.
You have to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to pop this in every time people are over and I want to, like we've watched Samurai Cop how many times?
Yeah.
We've watched The Room how many times?
Yeah.
This has 20-minute chunks of pain.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm going to be rewatching this, but when this movie is hitting with all the stuff with the birds, I mean, I have never seen anything like some of the stuff in this.
What about the random birds that would just like smash into something and die, like
What
out
the
of
hell was
nowhere? Like there were gems. There were great gems in this movie.
And the sound effects were like Chinese water torture. Like you hear it the first 10 times, you're like, oh, okay. And then the 1,000th time you hear the bird sound effect, I was ready to kill myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100% has to be watched.
Yeah.
100% so bad it's good, but it's not going to be on the rotation.
No.
This is not Rock and Roll Nightmare.
No. Yeah.
This is more like these really terrible Steven Seagal movies I'm going to watch one time to shit on him, and I'm never going to watch it again.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
How is this movie real?
Dude. There's so many things in this movie that I was like, how was this made? How
It seems like a parody of a bad movie.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. I mean, the first 5 minutes were you called it with the super long driving, and then the audio stuff, the weird acting, and like the dude walking all robotic, the terrible dialogue.
What was with that guy's acting?
Dude, I don't know. And it didn't get any better through the movie.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? If you like So Bad It's Good, it's a must-see, one-time watch.
Yeah, but like if we had people over who aren't into bad movies and want to put something on to laugh at, I wouldn't put this on.
No.
They wouldn't get through the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
This was a rough one, dude. I can't believe this is real.
Just letting those puppies out.
The ponies?
The ponies.
It's like the puppies. He pull his boobs out? This is our second movie. The beers have been flowing.
Some sort of animal is going to be let out of their stable.
When you list on a
Yes. That movie is amazing. And yes, forever. I too can't believe I lived through this twice. What a piece of shit. I agree. It is one of those movies where you're almost tempted to watch it again after it's done, just to make sure you didn't hallucinate the entire thing. It's like Freddy Got Fingered that way. Which actually, what I just said is a quote from a review I remember reading about Freddy Got Fingered from this column called My Year of Flops that the AV Club used to have. And they did, yes, that was one description for the movie in that article. Yes. And now, here we are with page 12. So now we're officially halfway there. So now that means here we are to get this done before the month is out, so we can go and bring all our energies into selling Encrypted. Yes, the next after this issue is done, then the next 5 months is all about selling Encrypted and growing the circulation and getting those issues out there and printed and shipped and all that. Then come September, we'll get back into work full time on the drawing part of Encrypted with the issues 8 through 11 there before the year is out. And then during that break is when I will be finishing my little comic Slick to put up there as a little web comic for all of you to see, based on our little frog friend right here. So until then, I want to thank you all for watching. Subscribe so the channel hits 10,000 subs. Become a member today and shop at my art store with that first link in the description below, where you can buy my art, or you can commission me, or you can go and support me with a donation, besides going out there and buying my comic book Encrypted, where a copy is $5, an autographed copy is $10, an autographed and sketched in copy is $20, or you can get a 1-year subscription for $60, or 1-year subscription for $90. And I'll have tomorrow, new shorts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 and 6. I'll have a new video at 6:30, and I'll be live again at 10. So until then, Felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and see you, Space Cowboy.